In my last 3D printing tutorial video, I designed some simple boxes that can be used to rotate anything. I included the parts and the 3D files that you can download to make for yourself, and I thought that this could help you in your projects and hopefully give you some ideas, which gave me an idea. What if the slow but strongly geared variable speed motor could be used to smoothly assist in camera movements? I'm always filming things, and a smooth, consistent movement could really help create a more cinematic footage. I started with the variable speed box I created from the last video, and started 3D modeling different designs. I tried a few different ideas, but I ended up having to go with the design that would be best for 3D printing, since FDM 3D printers print each layer from the bottom to the top. And I want these rails to be as smooth as possible, so printing vertically was not an option, since each of the layer lines would create friction and possibly unwanted vibrations. So I need to print everything flat, but shaped in a way that it doesn't need any supports for an even cleaner model. It was a challenge, and I went through several iterations and many failed prints, which I just considered progress since they taught me what didn't work. And I finally had my complete 3D printed camera slide to test out. And throughout this video, I'll let you know the problems I ran into, and let you know what worked better than I thought, and what I think could be improved. So to keep the slider strong and level, I designed the end holders to fit tightly into my tripods. And then the rails can fit together to create any desired length between the end holders. And I found out that the two AAA batteries just wasn't strong enough, so I adjusted the motor box to hold a 9-volt battery, and that's going to give the motor more power to pull the heavier camera. And the bottom arms are shaped like this to slide on and hug the rails so they don't fall off. And these same arms are on the camera holder too. So the motor turns the wheel, which spins the regular sewing thread to move the slider, and I doubled the thread for more strength and to limit any stretching, and the variable speed motor works great for getting different speeds of movement. And I'm currently trying to design a limit switch to shut off the motor automatically when the slider reaches the end. It's a work in progress right now, but I'll post updates in the video description if I get that working. And everything worked great, second try. I had some problems, but I was able to fix it. And this camera movement has a name. It's called a camera truck when you move the camera from left to right or right to left. And I didn't plan this, but I like how the red power light is visible through the motor's box, to let you know if the motor is still on or off. And just so you can really see a difference, here is my handheld footage where I'm trying to hold the camera and make smooth camera movements. And then here is the consistent, stabilized footage from the slider. And not that there's anything wrong with handheld footage, it just gives a different tone and emotion. The 3D printed plastic does sometimes stutter when there's too much friction, so I tried this spray butter to see if that would help at all. It did make some improvement, and my cat also liked it too. The horizontal slide works great, but I also wanted to capture vertical footage too. I want to move the camera up and down. I had to design a new end holder for the tripod, and that's easy to attach or detach, and it's held securely in place. And the camera holder is pretty much the same, it's just at a right angle to the slide rail. And one nice feature that I didn't think about, but I kinda like, is when the motor is turned off, the weight of the phone slowly lowers the camera, so you can capture smooth up and downward movements. And since the camera is automatically moving, I'm free to experiment with dynamic lighting and try out some creative ideas. Another famous camera movement is called a dolly. It's when the entire camera moves forwards or backwards. Sometimes you can see the railing in the footage, but I made the camera holder be able to angle the camera so you're pointing upwards to avoid the railing in the shot. I was trying to think of what else this could do, and what about a 360 camera spin as the camera slides? That could be pretty cool, but I really wanted to avoid another motor and battery, so I thought of this. What about a large wheel? As the camera is pulled in one direction, the large wheel will unwind and spin to create a rotational movement. So this way I get two very different movements by using just one motor and battery. I ran into a small problem. I added this little dot to mark where the string position starts, but it ended up creating tangles and drag on the string, so I just removed it and it's working a lot better now. And hopefully this will increase the smooth rotation. And it worked second try. Well, it eventually worked after a redesign. And as someone who creates 3D animation and visual effects, smooth camera movements are very helpful for green screen and camera tracking. If you have a smooth, consistent camera movement, you can recreate that camera in a 3D software program and add animation and compositing with that footage. It's just so much easier to film smooth camera movements and then add camera shake in post if you want it. I think the limit switch to shut off the motor would be a good idea to have, so I'm going to keep working on that, and maybe scale this up for a much larger camera, and I could probably 3D print a storage container to hold everything together. A lot of these movements will look best with parallaxing, so you might want to have some smaller out of focus items in the foreground. And I don't think this will ever stop being amazing to me. The fact that I can think of something, design it, 3D print it, hold it in my hands and have it actually work and be functional and useful to me. And I have a few edits I'd like to make to the 3D model, but then I'll post a link for you to download and use for yourself. And I know I'll be using this myself for smooth camera movements in my future videos. It was fun hanging out with you, I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.